And the small group conversation continues. Did my ram stay in the thicket? Did I get an out? Or are Ben and I going to be small group leaders? And what can you learn when you're part of a group and there are differing opinions?
Welcome to the Dawn and Steve Plus podcast, fueled by Raphael's Roastery and supported by you. Connect to us on socials or dawnandsteveplus.com.
So I feel like I need an update from you.
On.
Last time that we recorded some podcasts, you were thinking you might be leading a small group. Do we know yet?
Oh, the small group.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. The small group story continues, and it does continue.
So does that mean yes, mean no, mean we don't know what's going on?
Oh, the process of this is just, it's almost hilarious to me because the way the Lord works, just preparing you, pulling you out of your own stuff so that you're ready, and then getting you to a point where you're like, okay, well, let's make ourselves available. The answer to your question is, I don't know yet.
Okay.
We got a text yesterday asking if we could get on a phone call to talk about the possibility, because last week after we were recording, we were on a phone call that was, thank you for being willing. We don't need you yet.
Oh,
and
so
we were like,
yet was a week maybe, huh?
I think I even texted you and Briggs saying, there's a ram in the thicket.
Right. And I was curious, like, did the ram escape? Did we sacrifice the ram? What's going on with the ram right now?
The ram is pulling at his captivity. I think what's going to happen is maybe it's an interim type thing. Like they want to start a couple of new small groups, but then someone from within to lead eventually.
Okay.
And the reason is they try, from what I can tell, I should ask this question, but from what I can tell, they try to put people in small groups now that are at the same kind of phase of life.
Life stage kind of thing?
Yeah, so that you can relate to one another. And we're older than the group that needs a leader. Therefore, long term, we might not necessarily be needed.
You're always going to be needed there. And I think there can be something good about the people leading the group maybe being a little bit older. Because they have often a little bit more life experience.
It's true.
With which to just share. And not hopefully in a kind of preachy way, but in a, this is what our experience has been.
Yeah.
Take it for what it's worth. This is what we tried and it failed. This is what we tried and it worked. This is, it may not work for you. Get it. Everybody's different. But
that's true too.
There can be, I think, some benefit in having some older people lead sometimes.
So therein lies my question. I would think so too, because we may be 10, 15 plus years down the road, which means you've got a whole lot more of things that have happened in your life and you've had to learn to cope with. But my question is, like, if you're in the parenting stage and parenting has changed so much and you want to do something, let's just say like gentle parenting, or you just see your face changed.
Yes, it did.
or you just have decided that your kids can rule the roost. Like I just chafe under that, because I've had a conversation recently with a couple of young people that were like, I don't want to have kids because kids don't behave. And I'm like, well, I respect that, but you have to train them. You're either training them to misbehave or you're training them to behave.
Yes.
It's up to you as the parent as to how that child's going to be trained up. You get to choose that. Your children will respond accordingly.
Like there is no 100% guaranteed outcome.
No, there is
right?
not.
We all know that. However, I think you are completely correct in if you tell your child, maybe you don't use the words, but through actions and the dynamics and the way in which your house runs, if your child quickly picks up on the message that this is a kid-led house, a kid-focused house, then it's going to be a mess.
They'll do it.
They're going to absolutely do that. However, if you show this child that, no, this is a mom and dad-led house, mom and dad say this is the priority, this is the focus, this is the way it's going to be. If you don't like it, tough. it's the way it is, and here are the consequences,
Right.
then, okay, that kid may still be standing up on the inside sometimes,
Sure.
but they're going to be sitting down when you say sit down.
Not to mention, children do well with appropriate boundaries.
Oh,
They feel lost if they don't have, they don't know
Yeah,
they feel
right.
lost, but I've watched it happen so many times. They don't know how to function in environments when they've not been taught. I mean, if training is a word for you that triggers, then taught, you're teaching them.
yeah.
And it's the same thing with the word. You're teaching them, you're training them in the word and how we respond to certain things. It's both and
Yeah.
if we call ourselves a Christian family. So I'm thinking about small group leadership, and I'm just wondering, like, if these young families, why is Tommy so misbehaved? And you're watching the interaction of the family. Don't ask me if you don't want to know.
You really want to know why Tommy's misbehaving?
It's hard work to get that back. Like,
Yeah.
if you've let Tommy go for 10 years,
Oh.
you're going to be working the next at least 8 to undo
yeah.
what you've done.
I think I've told you this before. I think the best advice my mom ever gave me as I was becoming a parent was start strict.
Mm.
Because it's easier to loosen the reins than it is to try and gather them back later.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative of that because I think she's 100% correct.
Oh, she is 100% correct. That was great parenting advice. Have you heard Nate Bargatze when he
Oh, yeah.
talks about his parents and the most strict Christian parents of the 80s? He goes, that's what I was raised by. And my oldest, though we're not parents of the 80s, she'll get, that's true. That's true. Like, you raised me that way. And then our son
right.
comes along and I realize, okay, you're going to survive with, if your pacifier hits the floor, it's not, I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're not
yes,
gonna-
I sterilize it. I do. Yes, I would clean it. But I just realized, maybe like this.
I was about to say with your own.
You're fine.
Yeah. We share DNA. You're going to be good.
But then the baby comes along, and Alex, our oldest, who's been on the podcast before, she's like, you forgot everything. You didn't raise her. And then you realize, well, there's a few things going on there. One, every personality is different. All 3
Yes.
children are way different. And also, I made no bones about this. I said, sis, you were firstborn. You're a guinea pig. We didn't
Yeah.
know what we were doing. I just wanted you to have, I'm a firstborn. You're a firstborn.
Yep.
We were all guinea pigs. Like, parents, unless they were with cousins or nieces or nephews, they didn't know. They're doing the best they can. And I'm like, just be thankful you're firstborn. Because you had the benefit of things that your 2 siblings didn't.
Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things I've learned, when you have a gap in the age of your kids, when you are young and you don't know which way is up and you are trying to parent kids,
Oh, yeah.
everything's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then you get down the road a little bit. You've experienced a little more life. You've watched the firstborn and the secondborn. Okay, they're fairly resilient.
Yeah.
By the time the second, third, fourth one comes along, you're, I was making a big deal out of stuff for that firstborn that really didn't need to be a big deal.
I remember, I was at a conference. I don't remember who it was, what it was. I just remember watching this mom and her little girl. And she was just letting her little daughter play. She was probably 18 months old. And she dropped her passy on the floor, and the mama let her pick it up. And I was like, oh, well, you can tell that's not a firstborn. And so I engaged her
Yeah.
in conversation, and I said, this must not be your first. And she goes, oh, yeah, she is. And I was like, what? How? How did you teach yourself
Yeah.
to not lose it over the pacifier hitting the floor? And she goes, well, I just know that she's going to be like, I keep everything clean and I'm certainly conscientious of all that, but I just know that it's not going to be the worst thing ever. And
Right.
I'm like, I don't know how you did that being a first time mom. I just don't.
Well, I think you realize that you're building that child's immune system. You're actually giving that child a gift.
Well, that's what
Right.
I told him about kid 2 and 3. Like
Yeah.
their immune system was off the charts. The firstborn, I mopped the floors twice a day.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes, I did.
Wow.
Second, maybe once every other day. Third, nah.
Okay.
Mop floors. What's that? Do we have a mop?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we do.
I think we have a mop somewhere in our house. Actually, I shouldn't even joke about that.
You
because
shouldn't, 'cause your wife
my
keeps
wife
very
actually
good.
does clean the house.
She
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, it's not my gifting.
No?
No,
No.
it's not my gift.
I think leading a small group is your gifting. The one thing, though, as you talk about that age difference, would be what is, in a sense, the heart behind
Mhm.
and kind of the mindset into which you go into leading the small group. Should you end up, working with a little bit of a younger group, when I think we step into a role like that to recognize, hey, I have the opportunity to maybe make some great relationships and friendships with these people as mentors
Yep.
and friends. But that mentorship thing, I think, is a big thing. But to recognize that, all right, I don't know that they're going to be able to give me the same kind of feedback and advice that a peer would of that same stage of life. But if you
Sure.
can walk into this as we're cultivating relationships, cultivating
Mhm.
friendships, and this is going to be very often a mentoring type of relationship. I mean, I think that could be really, really cool.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Lord does
Yeah.
because we have already said, whatever you need, we're happy to serve in any way. And if it works out that we're there long term, great. And if it's a short term thing while you raise up other leaders in that age bracket, totally good. We just feel like the Lord has gotten us to a point. Well, Ben's been ready for a long time, but gotten me to a point, I will own it 100% to be ready to say, I will serve you wherever and however. And if that includes a small group, then you've got purpose in that.
Sure.
For others, for us, however the Lord wants to work in that environment, in that situation, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, and who knows how he may use that. Just yesterday in our Sunday school class, we were talking about how we have seen God use us in
Nice.
situations that we would not have naturally or wanted to normally step into.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ladies in our group was talking about how she had been asked into a leadership role in a community Bible study.
Oh, nice.
And that was so out of her comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But since the Lord was directing her into that and obedience was to say yes,
Mhm.
and she did it
Good girl.
and got to see God show up and
Okay.
meet her and teach her and
Yep.
cultivate friendships and relationships that she values and I wouldn't have had that otherwise. So the year goes by, it's time to renew. Are you going to do it again or not? And she just basically, all right, Lord, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. So she told the leader that,
Mhm.
said, wherever you can use me best, you can put me there. And she got the kids, which is where her
I
heart bent
was
would be.
Just getting ready to say, oh,
right?
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where her, the bent of her. So she's like, I had the opportunity to step into that role for a season, got to see God show up, got to learn things about him, learn things about myself, make new friendships and relationships. Some of those are still continuing. And now, a year later, God's giving me where my heart is inclined anyway.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, who knows if you say yes, how God may kind of direct your steps there.
And that was what when Ben and I were talking and praying about this, I said, we just don't know why the Lord has changed my heart on this, other than I needed that pruning. And you just wonder, what relationships will he bring about? What thing that we're all going to experience together that the Lord needed all of us together because the way he was going to move amongst the people. I've just seen him do it too many times to know that he doesn't have purpose in everything. So I'm looking forward to it. And I also go in with a little fear and trepidation because I know that we as human beings can cause one another great strife. And, Steve, you've known me long enough to know, I'm thinking everybody's going to be great and everybody's going to get along and everybody's coming in with a common purpose, and that's to see what the Lord's going to teach us this week. And I realize that's a little naive,
It might be.
but I'm going to think it
It's
anyway.
it's a nice world you live in.
I do like my own little bubble. It's pink and sparkly.
Yes.
And everybody gets along in it.
Yeah, which is great until not everybody decides that they're going to live in that world with you.
I know.
But I think that is one of the things that I would be interested to see how different it is here in the South where we live in the Nashville area.
Uh-huh.
If you're watching anywhere else, we're based in Nashville. When I used to be able to lead a group up in the Chicago area where we used to live, I felt like strong opinions and engaged in heated dialogue was much more of a regular thing.
Oh, sure.
Down here, it's like, for the most part, people are like super nice
Mhm.
and
Good.
going out of their way,
Mm-hmm.
generally not to be misunderstood or to say something too
Mhm.
blunt. I find it's often the people who are new to the area who are the
Mhm.
ones who are the most direct and blunt and step on the most toes. And as the group grows together, understands
Right.
people's personalities, you learn to maybe cut a little bit of slack at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes that slightly abrasive personality
Mm-hmm.
actually can be a gift to your group if you have if you have taken the time to get to know them a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yep.
You get to know some of what is behind their
Mhm.
story, and maybe go out to grab a cup of coffee with them or grab
Mhm.
breakfast or whatever. Get to know their story a little bit. And then when these dialogues go back and forth, number one, you have a bit of an idea of what might be behind that.
Absolutely.
I've had the opportunity to sit with someone and say, hey, this is, you've got, I love your contributions. You're quick to respond, but you can help me in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And try and bring them into, this is one of the goals that I would like to see for our group. Can you help me get there?
Sure. Like team sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so, trying to maybe share big picture goals
Mhm.
with those abrasive personalities so that you can actually move together towards kind of more unity. And then I think sometimes when you even watch differences of opinion going back and forth a little bit, if you're in that leadership role, to look for what is behind these opinions
Mm-hmm.
and these strong suggestions, and look for maybe the opportunity to have shared common ground
Right.
if that's possible,
Mm-hmm.
and then take the reins
Yeah.
and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so wise, because the art of conversation sometimes is lost because we only want our point across. We only want to be heard. We only want everybody to live in our pink little sparkly bubble with us. And that is such a wise thing to do, is to teach or help people realize. I think they know, like, I think a lot of people, especially in our age bracket, they know to listen to others, but we've developed these bad habits of only thinking about what we're going to say next, because we've got such strong, good opinions, and we miss out on what the person is trying to say,
Mhm.
the intent behind their heart and the message they're sharing. And no wonder we don't have any empathy or understanding from one another. We're too busy living in our own little world. But to practice that, it can be regained.
Oh, yeah.
We can regain talking, listening, sharing, thinking, and maybe even accepting somebody else's. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily live that yourself, but you can understand from where they're coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge.
And I think that's, and there may be people within the group who would not necessarily want to do that,
Sure. Oh, yeah.
on their own. But one of the things that I think is fascinating to watch, if you are in that leadership position, where when someone comes with a strong opinion
Mhm.
and somebody else is coming with, and you sense like this could go sideways really fast,
Mhm.
is to, from that leadership role, begin to ask questions.
Yes.
And it's like, man, you are super passionate about that. What is behind that answer?
Yeah.
All right. When that was said, what did that stir up in you, and
Mhm.
why was your
Mm.
response in this way? And I think as you force the people to talk to each other
Right.
and moderate that in some ways, you watch tensions come down.
Yep.
You watch understanding. Now, they may never be best friends,
Oh, yeah.
and that's okay.
Right.
But it's interesting to see how, when you have the opportunity to kind of try and shape that dialogue a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
what God will do to soften hearts of people in that room.
And I know you and Susie, as you lead, you're praying and you're asking the Lord to bring about conversation.
Often, Lord, help! I need the words right now. Please help.
SOS, SOS. And I think if we start a group, or if we're asked to step into one, I may start every week with, "Dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. Therefore, I just think sometimes reminders, because if you don't practice stuff like this, I would much rather, if I'm mad about something, bleh.
Yeah.
Because you're releasing that tension. But I'm learning it. Give it a beat, maybe 2, maybe 24 beats in 24 hours, and step back and see what the Lord's going to do. Because it might diffuse in your own heart, and you're like, okay, that's not that big a deal. So, but if I didn't know that, I would never be quick to listen and slow to speak. I would always be quick to speak. Slow to
A lot of us are.
Thanks for joining us for the Dawn and Steve Plus podcast. We're a listener-supported, non-profit podcast, and we're grateful for your generous support. You can give at dawnandsteveplus.com. Our producer is yours truly, Stephen Briggs, with assistance from Chris Westmoreland. Please like and subscribe to Dawn and Steve Plus anywhere you get your podcasts and on all our socials. Links to what we talk about and to Raphael's Roastery are in the show notes below. Thanks for joining us and being our plus one.